In this slidecast, we're going to look at how quality is normally applied into a civil engineering project at the technician level. We've talked about how it's applied at the company level, which is the umbrella for projects. So we've looked at how it is applied across a whole company. However, quality control on sites is what technicians are mostly responsible for. So we talked about company quality control as one of those levels of a QMS system. So quality control is where you are checking that you're doing the job properly. So we've got our pipeline here, and we've got all sorts of questions that need to be asked. Is the bedding constructed as required? And it is defined in the drawings. It shows the bedding and it's got a lot of information there, and there's probably some stuff about the grading in the specification. Is the pipe installed as specified? Is there the correct gap between those two pipes? Are they the correct pipes? Is it at the specified level? Once again, you get these from the drawings and the specifications. Is it in the right place? Have we actually located it? So there's chainage 495. Is it actually in the right location? Is the bedding material as specified? So there's the bedding material. We've constructed it properly, but is the actual material we've put down correct? And is the correct pipe material? We've laid the pipe there. Have we got polyethylene pipe? Does it comply with the right New Zealand standard? So all of these things here are project requirements. They need to be satisfied if we are going to achieve quality. If one of them is not correct, if we put it in the wrong place or if we use the wrong bedding material, then the pipeline might not be fit for purpose. It might fail after a short period of time. It might be in the wrong place. If it's a problem during construction, it might be that we have to dig it up and do it again. So as the pipeline is being laid, you are, as a technician, checking all of these things and all of the other stuff. Likewise, if you are a consultant, you're producing designs. So we've just got a drawing here of a cross section of a road, and your first question is, does the camber, so we're looking at the camber there, does it meet the road drainage requirements? Is it at the right slope? Stability requirements, it's going around a road, around a corner, is it at the right slope for cars to get around? Are the aggregates that you propose fit for purpose? Have they been properly specified? Have you said what type of aggregate you require? Does the design comply with the road authority specifications? So these are all the things that you'll be checking just designing that one little part of the design. In addition to that, you'll be looking at the drawing as a whole, saying, is it easy to understand? Because remember, someone else is going to have to pick up this drawing and construct it for you. The next two relate to professionalism. Have you got the spelling and grammar correct? Is it to professional standard? Remember, people are paying for these drawings, so they expect them to be professional standard. And lastly, has the design been checked? Has someone checked it? Has someone approved it? So these are all these things that need to be done in addition to the design work, and these are all related to quality. They are making sure that the road that you're designing is going to be fit for purpose and that it is acceptable to the client, that it is specified properly. So the way that we make sure that these things happen is a quality plan. Remember, we talked about a quality management system where we're talking about which is defined by a quality management plan, which is talking about how things happen in the whole company. A quality plan is talking about how you're going to apply those quality procedures and processes to the specific job. So it tells you what is going to be checked. So what is to be checked, what is to be checked for, when is it to be checked, how is it to be checked, who's going to do the checking, how is it going to be checked. And it's not just stuff coming on site, it's not just looking at the final product. For proper quality control, you need to be checking it at every stage. So when the raw materials come on site, that's when you measure the steel sizes. That's when you check that it's the right type of steel. That's when you check that there's no damage or excessive rust on it. When you are just about to start laying the concrete, you're checking that reinforcing steel again. Has it been put in the right place? Is it at the right spacing? And then when you've actually poured the concrete, you're looking at the final concrete slab. Is it at the right level? Has it got the right finish? So you're checking each of these things at specific stages, and that's what the quality plan does. There's a lot of checking and testing and checking that needs to happen, and that's what this is all about. And also, if something doesn't work properly, if there's a mistake, if there's non-compliance, what are you going to do? If the concrete's not up to specification, what are you going to do? And how are you going to record and store that testing and inspection results? Now, here's an example of a quality plan for a construction project. This is also known as an inspection and testing plan, an ITP. Now, you need to take note of what an ITP is, because in construction practices we're going to be dealing with these in a lot more detail. We're also going to be looking at them in project management. So they are an important skill that you need to have to understand what an ITP is, to be able to prepare one and to be able to use one. So this example here is just a very simple version. We'll look at more complicated ITPs later on. In this case, we've got one work item. So this is from the Jackman Avenue project. Item D2 was open trench installation, and you'll recall that there were different pipe sizes. There was 450 and there was a 560 and so on. And this is covering all of those pipe sizes, because the pipe size, you'll be doing these checks for all types of pipe. It's much the same process. So we're saying, what is the item number? So we're relating this into the schedule. Recall that when we the way that we manage a project is we break it into smaller parts and smaller parts, that work breakdown structure. So in this case, we're breaking it down into smaller parts, and so we're just looking at one particular operation, which is installing pipes in the trench. And then we need to say, what do we need to check? We need to make sure it's in the right place. We need to make sure the pipe's at the right level. We're using the right bedding material. We've got the bedding at the right thickness. We've got the trench at the right width. We've got the pipe separated properly. We've got the backfill compacted properly. Right pipe, and that the welding all happens. All of those things need to be checked, and if you go through the contract document, you'll find all of those requirements are there in the specifications and the drawings. Then we need to say, how are we going to do each one of these checks? So for example, the location, we're going to do a survey check of the location. We're going to set out some marks to make sure that it's in the right place, and we're going to do that before we lay the pipe, because we don't want to lay the pipe and find that we put it in the wrong place. So before we lay the pipe, we're going to check that we're going to mark the location of it, and we're going to get a surveyor to do it. So we've said what we're going to check, how we're going to check it, when we're going to check it, who's going to check it, and then when it's checked, someone signs it off. Some of them have several things, like pipe welds. We want to make sure that the polyethylene pipe is welded properly, so we need to make sure that the welders are certified that they can do the job. So we'd do that before the welding starts. We'd check the welding process. Have they set it up properly? Once again, before they start welding. Inspect the welds. When the work is underway, we'd inspect the welds. And every 20 welds we'd need to cut out and test. So in the specification somewhere, it'll say you need to do destructive testing on every 20th weld. And so you'd need to include that in there as well. So you can see that what this is, and this is just for one item, and you'll recall that Jackman Avenue ran to about 3 or 4 pages. So this, so you'd normally prepare an ITP for every activity that is carried out. So the ways that you'd sort of do the quality control is you've got your ITP. You might have, but the workers need guidance on how to do it, on how to do the quality testing and stuff. So you might have tables setting out the full testing and inspection regime. So that's your ITP. You'll have checklists. So instead of, when you're doing an inspection, for example, you might have a sheet that says these are all the things you need to check, and so there's probably little tick boxes there. Check that location, you tick that. Check that the bedding is at the right depth, you tick that. You can have templates to help people develop their ITPs, and reviews. So you can also have checks to say that the quality management actions have been undertaken. And another resource available to you is New Zealand standards. They will set out the best practice for doing a particular job, and from that you can get the things that you need to check to make sure that you're actually doing a good job. So that concludes the slidecast on quality. It is a subject that is very important to what technicians do. One of the main things that a technician does is quality control, making sure that things are done properly.